This will never get old to me. This intro has been etched in my memories for the rest of my life. Like many others, Mario Kart 64 has been my introduction to the series and holds a very special place in my heart. It does not hold up as well today as it did then, the cheating AI and slippery controls being the most grating to deal with. But there are so many good music tracks that come from this particular game, including the title theme, which I think is still the best of the series to this day. Since my encounter with Mario Kart 64, the series became a staple. I have played extensively all the Mario Kart games except Super Circuit, Tour, and the arcade games. Back when the internet wasn't as prevalent as today, local multiplayer was king, and games like Mario Party and GoldenEye were really something unique to experience with 3 other players, making living rooms lively with cheers or complaints depending on how your game went. This also includes Mario Kart, which is where Mario Kart 64 shone the brightest. There's a reason why everyone remembers fondly the battle maps despite being only 4 of them. The series kept innovating, taking advantage of the online multiplayer to bring Mario Kart enjoyers together worldwide since DDS title, and a while later, Mario Kart 8 would introduce magnetic tracks to experience kart racing in 4D! Needless to say, Nintendo always found ways to freshen the gameplay in interesting ways while keeping its core intact. But after adding verticality to racing, where do you go from there? Well, after 8 years and 96 tracks, they gave us the answer, connecting the world and widen it while keeping its depth mostly intact. And here it is, Mario Kart World. After keeping Mario Kart 8 alive for so long, it felt right to bring the series to new heights with the release of the Switch 2. And while the game in itself is good fun, you can't deny it has been surrounded by controversy and bad decision making that muddies the general experience the game wants to offer. In this video, I'll be going over the basic gameplay, looking at the available modes, characters, and some of the tracks, as well as checking out the new free roam mode and online functions, all the while adding my own perspective and experience throughout as a veteran casual of the series and addressing my perspective regarding the less than stellar decisions made by Nintendo. Let's jump in. Most people know about the basics of a Mario Kart game. You can go forward, go back, throw items and drift. The rocket start remains unchanged, you can still slipstream, and there are no gliders for aerial sections anymore as karts are all equipped with plane-like wings. Fun stuff. The gimmicks this time around is that you have a bit more movement options you can do. First is the jump boost. You can now charge a jump while holding the drift without inputting a direction. You can jump either front, left or right, gaining a small boost once you land. While this technique isn't very good by itself, it is used to chain other techniques or jump over obstacles. You can also grind on railings, charging a boost at the same time, as well as ride on walls. Wall riding is a bit more limited than rail grinding, as it is only for a limited time before you lose your momentum, but depending on your speed and angle while getting on a wall, you might be able to get on top of the wall and reach new parts of stages that you wouldn't be able to with regular drifting, adding a new type of verticality to tracks, requiring you to check more than just the road in front of you if you want to use the gimmicks to their fullest. Tricks also have been given a new purpose. Before, you could only trick on parts of the level where it was allowed. Now you can trick on every jump or bump as long as you have enough speed, giving you a small boost once you land. Another new thing is that when you trick in the air, you have a bit of control over your direction with each trick, something new to the series that helps a lot with aerial mobility. If you hit an obstacle while being in the air, you'll get a bit more air time as well, opening even more ways to traverse a course if you've got the skills to do it. Water physics are also different this time around. You don't sink in the water like in Mario Kart 8. Instead, karts will transform into jet skis, permitting you to ride on water. It's a bit slippery, just like if you were racing on ice, but you can trick on waves, sometimes being able to land consecutive boosts, just like if you were skipping on water. It's a bit difficult to get right, but it's so satisfying to do when you've got the timing nailed down. That's about the bigger changes in the gameplay. Now onto the characters, karts and items. The roster of characters contains your usual suspects, but there are some more unique choices. Now joining Mario and Luigi are the enemies you would find in the games. You can race as a Goomba, a Cheep Cheep, a Pokey, and all sorts of baddies from the Marioverse. Some characters like Donkey Kong must be unlocked before being usable, but we'll get to how shortly. And all of them, except the baddies, can have different costumes unlocked by one of the new items added to the game to give a bit more customization. I have some opinions about the roster. I find it underwhelming, if just a bit. I don't get why Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, and Baby Rosalina are a thing. Baby Mario and Luigi are okay to me since they've been part of the universe for a good while, being the stars of Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. But the other babies? Were they really necessary? And if so, why not go all the way and add Baby Wario and DK then? Also, hot take incoming. I dislike Pauline. I don't hate her or anyone who likes her, don't get me wrong, but I always felt like she was shoehorned in the main cast despite her background relevance to the series, being a main character in the Mario vs Donkey Kong series, which is where she belongs. Since her resurgence in Mario Odyssey, she's been in every Mario sport, party or card game, as if she always has been relevant to the universe despite having next to no character traits other than music goes brrrr, so her addition feels artificial. Then again, she's the first lady, and Nintendo seems to like her very much, so it's safe to say she's here to stay. I'll get over it. I am rather an average Rosalina enjoyer, but something feels slightly different than usual. Since her appearance in Mario Galaxy, Rosalina has been portrayed as a calm and mild-mannered character, almost having that 1,000-yard stare as if she had seen the past, present, and future from her observatory. In Mario Kart World, she has a sharper look and an energetic voice, which throws me off since I love her absent-minded personality and traits. I still like her though, and her touring outfit is my favorite costume of all her characters. The backwards cap and tied hair just does it for me. Yes, I saw Daisy. I do have a soft spot for her side ponytail, but I prefer Rosalina. Sorry not sorry. I also think it's a shame that Yoshi and Shy Guy lost their color variants. Even if Yoshi's costumes make him change color, you still don't have control over what color it is. And I was a black Shy Guy main too in Mario Kart 8. It would have been a nice touch to mix and match color and outfits, and some enemies like Parabitty-Bud, Pianta, Toad, and even Cheep Cheep could have also benefited from it. Yes, I count Toad as an enemy. Additionally, why does Lakitu have costumes and not Dry Bones? Not only Dry Bones has been a character in Mario Kart DS, but he has been an enemy since Super Mario Bros. 3 and... Oh, never mind. I will still say that Lakitus are made for clouds, not karts. All in all, roster is fine, the costume adds originality, some of them are pretty cool, and there's going to be more additions in the future, and I look forward to see who's gonna get added and what costumes we'll have next. Now for the karts. It's much more streamlined this time around. No more choosing different combinations, you just choose a kart or bike and it's done. Well, that's what I thought at first, but making a bit of research reveals that Mario Kart World stats are much more complex than it seems. Only speed, acceleration, weight and handling are shown, but there's so much more depth than those, so let's at least explain the four we see. Speed is your top speed and gets slightly higher the more coins you have. Acceleration is how fast you can reach your top speed and affects the length of your mini turbos. Weight influences your bumping power when you hit other racers, as well as the coin curve, or how much coins will affect you versus how much you have, and handling governs how well you turn. Additionally, the character and kart combo will have different efficiencies on different surfaces, which are hard roads, terrain roads such as dirt, snow or sand, and water. The pipe frame is my favorite because not only is it reminiscent from the N64 days, but I think it's hilarious to see the characters cramped in such a small vehicle. Waluigi and Charging Chuck are the funniest, but there's many characters that has to clip in the cart to fit. There's an in-depth document called Mario Kart Statpedia made by Reddit user itsmanu001, and the amount of detail and care put in the research is fascinating. If you're curious or serious about stats, you should definitely check it out. Massive props to everyone who assisted in creating this document. Naturally, it wouldn't be a Mario Kart without items, and there's quite a couple in fact. There are your classics such as bananas, mushrooms, green, red and blue shells, and that stupid coin you always get in first place among others. Then there's the newer ones like the coin box, which is stupider than the coin item even if each tap gives you a boost of speed because you don't want to be stuck in 14th place and be at the mercy of all the other racers because you got a coin box out of all the things you could have gotten. The hammer can obstruct others if aimed correctly. The projectile is a bit slow and lobs in an arc before touching the ground, but the area of effect is wide. You launch multiple hammers on one use and hitting others is very satisfying. I like this one. There's also a gold shell that will follow the track, leaving coins behind it for all players to pick up, as well as crashing everyone in its way, and the Kamek item, who will transform everyone in front of whoever activated it into an enemy, also making enemies based on the transformation appear on the course. It will also cancel your drift if you were doing one. You can unlock more baddies this way, but some of them are locked in specific regions of the map, so you can only unlock them if you get transformed on certain tracks. Lastly, in the new items is the dash food, only available at Yoshi's restaurants, stands or food trucks around the world. They not only look good, they also gives you a boost when used, as well as change the outfit of any compatible racer. Some foods have levels of effectiveness, so the boost length may vary depending on what food you get. Unlike mushrooms, the foods cannot be used to avoid a blue shell, sadly. Other than that, the big mushroom makes you big and go fast to squish competition. The fire and ice flowers shoot multiple projectiles. The boomerang flower lets you shoot a boomerang that goes a fair distance before coming back and was updated to reduce its homing properties because it was too annoying. The bullet bill propels you forward for a time. A bomb explodes on contact but will walk around a bit if thrown on the course. The super horn cancels everything close to you, racers included. Boo renders you untouchable while stealing an item from an opponent, and I just realized it makes you ignore turret properties. Was it always like that? The blooper obstructs other racers' vision, but it's the item I've seen the least use out of them all. I don't even think I've gotten one yet. The Thunderbolt stops everyone in front of the user, cancelling on dropping any item in their possession and making them small for a short while. It's one of the community's favorite items from what I hear. The feather makes you jump, avoiding obstacles, and creating opportunities to change the jump into other techniques and can be even used in the air. That about covers it, so let's proceed to the offline modes. Grand Prix is your standard mode in offline Mario Kart. You race on 4 tracks, one after the other, gaining points depending on your placement. It's a bit different in this title, as World introduces intermission races, which is actually the route to the next course. Once arrived, you make 1 lap on it, and it's done. Already, you can see one major problem here. There's no way to change it, so if you don't like it, tough luck. You'll have to like it, because Nintendo said so. In my opinion, there should have been 2 sub-modes for Grand Prix. The classic Grand Prix, where you can do 3 laps on each course, and the intermission Grand Prix, the one we've got. That would have made more single-player content, and more single-player content in any game is never bad. That being said, I don't dislike intermissions. Sure, some of them are straight-line simulators, I'm not blind to that fact. But on the other hand, Wario Stadium to Airship Fortress's second part is fun to play on, getting from land to ship, and descending Starview Peak to Sky High Sunday is impressive. Descending from the highest top and seeing the next course on the horizon while racing on a bobsled track is awesome. There are many more intermissions that are great as well outside of the Grand Prix tracks. As bothersome as they may be, there's an opportunity here to see things differently, and it's somewhat refreshing when you do. As is the tradition with the AI, it still cheats to create artificial difficulty to the point of being really unfair sometimes. You always have to watch your rear, as the computer will get many red and blue shells when they're behind, can steal your items at the worst possible moment, and like to keep the lead, letting you no chance to catch up even if you play the best game you can. How many times will you get pelted with items at the last corner of the course? Too many, that's how. While the AI can be frustrating, you can still get around its shenanigans by using your items right, and both knowledge of the course and sheer skills will often help you keep the lead. Depending on your score at the end of a Grand Prix, you will get a trophy. Getting the gold trophy will unlock the rival for that cup, but you can get up to 3 stars along with the gold trophy, the number of points you have governing the number of stars you get. Once you've got gold on all 7 cups, the hidden 8th cup will reveal itself along with the last track, Rainbow Road. If you manage to get all gold trophies and 3 stars in all cups, you will unlock the mirror mode for more challenge. No 200cc in sight yet, but I would be surprised if it's not added in a future update, as I feel the wide roads of intermission races are perfect for that kind of speed. Let's hope it'll come eventually. Next up is the Knockout Tour, the new kid on the block in Mario Kart. It's a long segmented race around the world, bringing you to many places during the race. You start with a full lineup of 24 participants, but the 4 last are eliminated at segments until there are only 4 racers left, which then the race will end by a lap on the last track. This is where the intermission races shine, what they were made for. The mode is fun and frantic. It really goes well with the chaotic energy Mario Kart can sometimes muster, and reaching the last segment is always a mad dash, especially if you're behind, hoping to not get overwhelmed by the items the players behind might have. Skill here is less of a requirement, especially at the beginning, where item management and planning is much more important so you can be ready for the dash to the next segment. Even when you're down to 4 racers, if you plan accordingly with your items on hand, there's always a way to reach the front, so as long as you stay alive, you have a chance to win. There are also 8 cups to win, but getting 3 stars doesn't net you anything but bragging rights. While a fun mode, I feel like it could be so much more open, like if we had a custom cup where we can decide where we want to go next. There are so many intermission tracks, it would have been another way to play and discover the many perspectives of the huge world has to offer. You can't even set a custom knockout tour in versus mode. I feel like it's a missed opportunity here. While on this subject, let's talk about the versus race and battle modes, which are much more fun in multiplayer. You set your rules and race or battle to your heart's content. In versus mode, you can set many options like what kind of items you want, computer presence and difficulty, number of races you want to do, and so on. Battle mode has 2 sub-modes, the classic balloon battle where you must pop all your opponent's balloons while keeping yours, and the coin runners where you must have as many coins as possible when the counter gets to 0. There are no specific arenas, instead it's a part of the world like the Big Donut close to Bowser's Castle or the Chain Chomp Desert aka the Big Sand Pit. They're fine for what they are, but I like arenas better as it gave way to creativity like the GameCube map in Double Dash or the DS map in Mario Kart DS. It's whatever though, the maps are fine. I don't play much of the battle mode, so I'm not the most knowledgeable guy about these. Next up is the time trials. This is my jam. I love time trials. You race on a chosen track for 3 laps trying to make the best time your skill lets you. It's more of a non-direct competition against yourself or your friends competing for who's gonna get the best time. It also lets you do a full 3 lap on courses, a thing Grand Prix doesn't let you experience. Some tracks are way more fun this way. For example, when I first played Crown City in Grand Prix, I found it underwhelming until I played a time trial on it, then really understood its appeal. It's the perfect track to practice the new mechanics, having many places that give the opportunity to rail grind and wall ride for shortcuts without too much punishment if you miss them. Another reason I love time trials so much is that you can use your own ghosts and race yourself to get a lower time, essentially working on your skills. Beating my own personal best by a second or 2 is such the dopamine rush. Until I check the world records, then I get sad. But seriously, time trial is very nice in world, and the new tricks and track designs makes it that much more interesting. I tried to make a time trial on each course before making this video to at least experience each of them in a 3-lap format, and I can say with confidence that an intermission with only 1 lap is not enough for some of them, as some tracks like Mario Circuit and Peach Beach are courses divided in sections, each lap representing a section of the course, so doing only 1 lap on them doesn't do any justice to the work put on them to make them feel different. Now that I know all tracks a bit more intimately, here are some of my favorite courses in no particular order. DK Pass. Snow courses aren't my favorite usually, but this one is fun to race on. Turns are tight, you must avoid traffic on your way up, going down the mountain is awesome. The big jump and the last turn before the finish line is chaotic in multiplayer, and the music remix is appreciated, as the bass song was already a bop. But you could say that about pretty much every song in the game. Wario Stadium. I like this one just for the music. Again! The detachment from the N64 track doesn't bother me, quite the contrary, I welcome it. Riding on walls can take you to the high ground where all the magic happens if you've got the skill to jump from rail to rail. The segment before the big jump is also fun to play, as if you wall ride correctly, you can save so much time compared to if you stayed on the ground. Also, it's one of the few tracks I love to get to in intermission races, because you can hear the music start slowly, but when you cross the finish line and the song finally starts for real, it's like a free dopamine hit, no matter your position. As an added bonus, you can race in reverse if the intermission starts from Dry Bone Ruins. This one's awesome. Airship Fortress. This is the track that made me love time trials in Mario Kart 7. Before that, I only fiddled with that mode but never took it seriously. It's this track that made me change perspective. In World, I find it even more enjoyable with the added rails and possible wall rides. That tight turn to the engine room and the spiral descent in the tower feels so great when you get them right. It's another track that's fun to play in intermission, as there are many ways to reach the battleship, which makes for very cool visuals. DK Spaceport. Not only does he have a skiing resort, DK is also knowledgeable in aerospace. This race is so fun, making the classic Donkey Kong first stage a racetrack as Mecha Donkey throws barrels on the stage. It's also one of the few tracks you do in full even when in an intermission race, which is great. The music goes hard too, being a remix of the old arcade game's soundtrack, finishing with the hammer theme on the last stretch, avoiding the huge barrel to reach the end. The rocket in the background is also themed as the Famicom controller, or maybe a Game & Watch, I'm not sure, but the detail is pretty cool in itself. Mario Circuit. A fun blast in the past is the best description for this course. Most turns are 90-degree turns, just like in Super Mario Kart. Not much space for text either, so this one will challenge players on their knowledge and grasp of the more basic driving skills. It's another track that benefits from the 3-lap format since it's segmented, and the throwback to the first game is a welcome detail. Rainbow Road. I couldn't let this one pass, it's the most ambitious Rainbow Road yet, and they really put all they had in this one. It's not the most challenging Rainbow Road since it has to accommodate for 24 players, so it's pretty wide, but it's the most visually impressive of them all, that's for damn sure. The course is divided in 4 segments, each one having a unique visual flair. There's a part with crystal water just like in Starview Peak, and the last stretch has Mecha DK and Dino Jungle's T-Rex on Whistletop Summit's train cheering you on to the finish line, what's not to love? It's also another race that is run in full even in an intermission course, so more points to it. And finally, the elephant in the room, the free roam mode. You have the opportunity to drive in Mario Kart World's huge map and explore its content, or lack thereof, at your own pace. Courses open up, you can freely drive around the track and check out its detail. Some even have extra areas such as Dino Jungle, who has a huge center you can climb the inside of via rails. You can trick your way up the top of the huge block at the beginning of the question block ruins, and there are even ways to visit the little islands. You can also get out at sea by Warrior's Shipyard and pay a visit to the Sea Serpents. there's not much to do really, apart from P-switches, question block panels, and peach medallions that is. P-switches gives you a bit of challenge of varying difficulty, while the two other are collectibles scattered throughout the world. Question block panels are found within the limits of a track, whereas medallions can be found anywhere. All of them give the same reward, a sticker. Stickers are used to decorate your player profile and will appear somewhere on your cart. You can only choose one at a time, and you can't even customize the look of your cart the way you want it, like your locker in Splatoon 3. It's lame, so lame, because there's so much wasted potential here. Look at the stickers! I think they look so cool to see all the characters having some kind of company logo about racing related products, service of some sort, or a simple logo. It plays so much into the world building, something Mario Kart never had or needed for that matter, but it's so clever. Fuzzy batteries, ice flower antifreeze, Nabbit courier service, Waluigi's vintage clothing, you name it, there's so much potential lore here. I cannot believe it didn't transfer into the world more than advertisements around the tracks. Something tells me free roam should have been more than it is now. I mean, come on! Banana Boy has a slogan, Peach and Daisy are bakers, Mario and Luigi are mechanics and specialize in motors and tires, respectively. Wario makes garlic-powered engines because he has to do everything Mario does, who are in charge of the theater, Harmon Bros are repairmen, and so much more. I cannot believe all of this lore was reserved for stickers only, it's almost frustrating. I still like free roam to an extent. It's a good mode to practice the new mechanics and test the feel of the character and card combinations, and the photo mode is just fun to fiddle with. There are many great sights to behold, and there's something so pleasant just driving around listening to the great music score in the game. It's insane how good the music is. From old tracks to the new ones, all of them are bangers, so much so that I sometimes forget what I was doing in free roam because I was vibing to Frappy Snowland's theme or Dolphin Shoals while taking in the beauty of the world. All in all, I like to take my time in free roam mode, and I would argue it's fine when you have no expectations for it, but I fully understand why people are so upset about the lack of content it provides. Alright, let's address the other elephant in the room. The online features. You can participate in versus races, knockout tour and battles in online multiplayer to test your mettle against other players. Right away, if your internet isn't wired to the console, you're going to have a bad time. Nintendo's netcode when it comes to online play is so flimsy it's borderline annoying. If you played your fair share of Mario Kart 8, you already know what to expect. Shells won't hit opponents, or they will run into your items and you're going to lose them, but they won't be penalized, so on and so forth. It's still playable, but it comes with its own issues that are slightly mitigated with a better connection on your part. As for the modes, Knockout Tour is where it's at. The chaos is much bigger with real people playing, which makes the stakes even higher and sweats will be sweating, but that's what makes this mode compelling. It's a shame we're locked into knockout cups only. As said, there are so many intermission tracks that it feels needlessly restrictive, and while intermissions are fine in KO Tour, they are overwhelmingly present in worldwide races, which is the online versus mode. Instead of racing 3 laps on a specific track, you have to choose between 3 course choices, and most of them will be intermissions. Not all intermissions are made the same, some are straight lines, while others have fun layouts. But we can't deny that it's intrusive in worldwide mode, as 3-lap courses were perfectly fine, but seems like it needed fixing. This decision on the part of Nintendo is tough to accept, as making 2 different modes would completely get rid of the problem. Version 1.2 came out, where the probability of lap-type courses are better. I joined for a couple of courses after the update and got 3 3-lap courses in a row, and they are back in random as well, so it's something. But upon testing further, the intermission courses are still prevalent, and some players do not care about 3-lap races, as even when they appear, not everyone will select them, which means they're probably true casuals who don't care about internet discourse, trolls, or children. What the fuck? So after all of that, is the game worth $80? Hell no. The lack of content in free roam is baffling, few to no tracking for collectibles. There's a severe lack of quality of life features such as audio mixing or any options for that matter. Lack of choice on the player parts such as full item choice, no custom knockout tour, no Grand Prix customization, can't choose freely what kind of race you want to do online as well as subpar matchmaking and online performance, no goddamn favorites for stickers, cards or characters, what the f. We've got no Mario Kart radio for free roam and no 200cc either, so no. There's way too many quality of life features missing to minimally justify the asking price, and even then, $80 is too much for a video game, period. If you bought the Switch bundle, the game drops to $50, which is much more of a fair price, but stocks are limited and won't be available anymore by the end of the year, so ultimately, it comes to personal choice. Will you fork over the cash to get the latest Mario Kart experience? To finish, I still think that despite all its shortcomings, Mario Kart World is still worth it. The core gameplay is solid, the racing feels good, and the new text added raises the skill ceiling considerably. The map, while a bit too empty, is breathtaking, and I can spend hours just roaming around and taking pictures as well as looking at the collected stickers and let my mind create lore for the world because Nintendo wasn't bothered to do it. The music score is phenomenal and includes music from the other Mario titles, catering to nostalgic man-children like me, and is easily worth half the price of the game. There are updates on the horizon, so we might see more stuff added, and that gives me hope that they'll address what's the game's lacking, so fingers crossed. But that's just my input. What's your experience with the game? Are you satisfied with your purchase, or will you go back to Mario Kart 8? I invite you to give me your thoughts in the comment section, as I'd like to have more viewer input. Give me a like if you agree, and a dislike if you don't. So that's it for this video. If you're still here, thank you, it means a lot. The next video is already chosen and I will start working on it soon, so I hope to see you there as well. But until then, thank you for watching and take care.